In this video, we're going to be talking about the lymphatic system. So the three main purposes of the lymphatic system is to prevent swelling, protect our body using the immune system, and also to absorb any extra fat. So the lymphatic system is located like basically everywhere throughout our entire body, and using these three components, the lymphatic system helps keep our body in check and also make sure our body is in a healthy state. We're first going to be looking at preventing swelling. So let's look at this first picture over here. Now, if we look at this main part where we see all the capillaries and the capillaries basically coming together, what happens is that the veins have these very small tiny holes. These small tiny holes allow leaking of the water and oxygen. Now the thing is that since water is coming out, some of that water is coming back into the veins or arteries. But the problem is that not all of it, all of the water or not all of the oxygen is coming back in. And so the problem is that it's leading up to an excess buildup of just random materials like nutrients, water, and all that things. So to prevent that excess buildup, which leads to swelling, the lymphatic system comes in. The lymphatic system, which is in green over here, comes and it goes into the area where there's a lot of swelling and takes the excess fluid into its vessels. Now, I'm going to be talking about three main things. The fluid inside the lymphatic vessels is called lymph. The fluid inside the veins and arteries or the blood is I'm going to be calling blood plasma, and all the fluid that's located outside of either one of them, like the excess fluid between the cells, is called interstitial fluid. So those are three main parts you have to know. So since all of the nutrients are escaping in between the cells or that interstitial fluid, what's happening is that not all the fluid is coming back into the blood. And because it's not coming back into the blood, the lymphatic system has to clean that mess up to prevent swelling and inflammation. And so to do that, these lymphatic vessels over here come and prevent that. You can see the lymphatic vessels mainly at the capillary transactions. So like where the veins and also where the arteries come together for that carbon dioxide, oxygen, and water exchange. Since some of it's leaking out, the lymphatic vessels pull all of those excess stuff that was leaked into it, or now described as lymph, and that will be taken into lymph nodes. Now, there are multiple types of lymph nodes throughout our entire body. However, these are the main ones. One is popliteal, which is located behind the knee. Then we have inguinal, which is located in the groin area. Then we have the abdominal, located in your abdominal area. Then we have the epitrochlear, which is located over here, like near the arm. Then we have thoracic, which is located in the chest. And you can actually compare these words together because the thoracic there's also an area in our spine called the thoracic. Then we have the cervical, which is an area in our spine. It's also the cervical. It's located there. And then we have the axillary. Axillary is like the armpit area. These lymph nodes are very special. And the reason why is because they filter out all the excess things over here and make sure that part is safe. And now we're going to be moving to our second purpose, which is using the immune system to be able to keep the body safe. So let's say some kind of pathogen got into the lymph vessels. What happened is through the leakage, it escaped through the blood circulation and was able to bypass all the white blood cells and ended up going into the lymph vessels. So what happens is that we have this entire lymph node. In the middle, it is called the medulla. Over here, in this part over here, this part over here, this part over here, and this part over here, and all these parts, this area is called the cortex. Then we have the B cells located in this round area over here, but towards the edge, we have these T cells over here. The points where they enter is the lymph, and you might be wondering, well, couldn't the fluid or the lymph come back out? Well, it could. However, the thing is that if it does go the opposite direction, then these two areas over here, or the valves, they shut, making sure that it does not go out. It's because it shuts, it's only going one direction and prevents it from going the other direction. The vessel that's entering over here is called an afferent vessel, and the vessel that's leaving here is called the efferent vessel. And a way you can easily remember is A comes first in the spelling, so afferent, so it comes in, and an efferent, E is after A, so it comes out. All right. We also have the blood circulation inside of these lymph nodes, and what happens is that when the lymph is entering in, if the pathogen is detected by the leukocytes or the white blood cells, then what happens is they will start fighting with the pathogen. If not, it just exits through the efferent valve or the efferent vein without having any problem. And now after exiting through the efferent vein, it enters into this main area over here, which is the thoracic duct and the right lymphatic duct. Now what mainly happens is all of this lymphatic stuff, it's getting like recycled and reused every single time. So it's mainly moving to different areas depending on where it is mostly needed. So now let's look at the last part over here, which is absorbing fat. So let's have an example over here near the small intestine. So in the small intestine, let's say some of that fat escapes. If the fat escapes through the small intestine and enters into our interstitial tissue, then what happens is the lymphatic vessels will end up grabbing it. However, the problem is that since it's fat, it needs to enter to the blood circulation, but the fat is not soluble into that kind of fluid or the blood plasma. So to make it soluble, what the body does is it puts it through a package, and this package is called chylomicron. So this chylomicron is a package which basically surrounds the entire fat. But the problem is that chylomicron package is a little too large for the capillaries to enter into the blood. So it just enters into the lymphatic vessels, and from there it enters either through the right lymphatic duct or the thoracic duct, and its way back up into the digestive system. And these right lymphatic duct and the thoracic duct is right in front of the heart, so it's able to easily connect into the blood flow. Now in the lymphatic system, we also have these immunity organs over here. We'll get more onto that in a later video. However, I'm just going to get onto the main points in a section in this part over here. So the thymus is located in the chest area. The thing is that as a child, it's very big, but as you grow, it gets smaller and smaller. Now, the reason why the thymus is important is because the bone marrow, as we have over here, is where all the leukocytes are created. And it's actually in the thymus where the T cells mature, or the leukocytes mature, to be able to fight off any kind of bacteria. Hence, the T cells, the T in front of the cells, comes from thymus, because thymus starts with T. Then the spleen is also where a lot of the cells mature. However, the thing is, the spleen mainly helps in filtering all of the old red blood cells, as well as helping in defense mechanisms like defense against pathogens and other kinds of external threats. And lastly, we have the bone marrow. The bone marrow is where all of the leukocytes or all of the white blood cells are originally created. And from there, they are developed in multiple areas and specialized in multiple fields. Like, for example, they could be a memory cell, a helper cell, a fighting cell, whatever it is. Next over here, we have the cisterna chyli. The thing with the cisterna chyli is that it's basically the main point where all of the lymphatic vessels match up in the middle. So all of these lower lymphatic vessels over here all match up in the middle over here and are then passed out over to the upper part. And same thing with the upper part. They match over here and go to the lower part. The right lymphatic duct and the thoracic duct connect to the superior vena cava. The superior vena cava, I think it's better over here. The superior vena cava can be seen right here, and as it exits, the thoracic and the right lymphatic duct come around like here. Now, this is where the lymphatic system basically kind of like links to the blood vessels, so that's where all the fat is able to connect. Any extra fat or all those nutrients are able to then go into the blood back again. In conclusion, the lymphatic system is used to prevent swelling, used in cases of defense for the immune system, and lastly is used to absorb fat or excess fat in the body.